All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to unpack the psychological framework of cognitive dissonance. We're essentially getting a user's guide to the machinery of your own mind, especially for those moments when it feels like it's short-circuiting. When our thoughts and our actions just refuse to line up.
You know that feeling, right? That weird internal grinding noise when you do something that you know just completely goes against your own values. It's a feeling we've all had for sure. But what is actually happening inside our heads when that goes down?
Okay, think about this. You're all about green causes. You recycle like a champion. You truly believe in protecting the planet. But then, this opportunity pops up. A weekend getaway on a private jet. And you take it. Whoa. That conflict between what you believe and what you just did, it's sudden and it is sharp.
Or maybe it looks something like this. Loyalty is your whole deal. It's your defining trait. You would go to the mat for your friends. But then you're in a group and someone starts gossiping about your best friend. And you just sit there. You don't say a word. The silence is deafening, right? That's the dissonance.
Or how about this one? You have a plan. You are absolutely laser-focused on saving up for a down payment on a house. But then you walk past a store, you see this watch you definitely don't need, and an hour later, you've just dropped $1,000. That feeling right there? That's what we're here to dissect.
So, to really get a handle on this internal conflict, we first have to understand the brain's default setting. What's its preferred state of being? Think of it like it's cruise control.
Now, let's be super clear. We're not just talking about feeling guilty. Cognitive dissonance is a formal psychological theory. It basically says our minds operate under a set of observable laws, kind of like how the laws of thermodynamics dictate how heat transfers. It's like an equation for the mind.
So what is that default state? Well, it's something called the consistency drive. Our brains aren't just looking for emotional peace, they're desperate for internal harmony, because it's just more efficient. Processing contradictions literally burns physical energy, and our brains are hardwired to save as much of that as possible.
The absolute best way to think about this consistency drive is like the cruise control in your car, right? You set it to 65 on the highway, and the car just takes over. It doesn't want to suddenly speed up or slam on the brakes. It wants a smooth, predictable ride where your beliefs, actions, and values are all humming along together.
But, of course, life isn't an empty highway. Potholes show up, someone cuts you off, and that cruise control system inevitably crashes. So let's look at the two specific things that cause this whole system to go haywire.
Okay, the first trigger is all internal. Contradictory beliefs. This is like a mental car crash happening inside your own head. For example, a manager who deeply believes they are all about merit suddenly realizes, wait, I just promoted my golf buddy and he's not very good at his job. Boom, collision. The second trigger is external, behavior conflict. This is when what you physically do in the real world violates a core belief. Think about a whistleblower who knows their company is corrupt, but they still cash that paycheck. The gap between who they are and what they're doing becomes impossible to ignore.
And the second that cruise control slams off, the dashboard lights up like a Christmas tree and alarms start blaring. This is what dissonance actually feels like.
This mental discomfort isn't just a fancy way of saying you feel bad. It's a real physical stress response. From an evolutionary perspective, your brain sees this inconsistency as a direct threat to your stability, to the whole organism. And that threat feels incredibly real because your body kicks into high alert. Your amygdala lights up, cortisol levels can spike, your heart rate actually changes. You might feel a literal knot in your stomach or get a sudden flush of heat. This isn't just in your head, your whole body is sounding the alarm.
So is this pain a bad thing? Well, not really. It's a catalyst. That discomfort is the signal you need that something is wrong. It's just like the pain you feel when you touch a hot stove. It forces you to pull your hand away before you get seriously burned. This cognitive pain forces you to take action to fix the problem.
So the pain is too much, the tension's too high, and your brain is now frantically searching for an exit ramp, anything to get that cruise control switched back on. And it turns out, the mind has three main ways it tries to silence those alarm bells.
Here they are, our three emergency exits: rationalization, belief adjustment, and attitude change. Now, on the surface, they all seem to do the same thing, make the bad feeling go away, but they are worlds apart. One's a quick fix, a patch job, while the others involve some deep and sometimes painful repairs.
Let's start with the one we all use the most, rationalization. This is basically a cognitive patch. It's a full-on mental gymnastics routine that lets you keep both your original belief
and your conflicting behavior by just inventing a convenient third thought to bridge the gap. Rationalizing is exactly like putting a piece of black tape over the check engine light in your car. I mean, sure, the annoying blinking light is gone, and yeah, the cruise control might even work again for a bit, but the underlying problem? Oh, it is absolutely not fixed.
Now, the second exit is way harder. It's called belief adjustment. And this is what happens when you stop kidding yourself. You actually modify a specific belief to line up with the undeniable reality of what you did. You are genuinely rewriting your own internal rulebook.
So if rationalization is just tape over the warning light, belief adjustment is popping the hood and actually fixing the engine. It's tough, right? It can be painful to admit you were wrong, but the fix is durable. Your internal logic is now structurally sound again.
And that brings us to the third and, honestly, the most profound exit: attitude change. This is on a whole other level. See, a belief is one specific idea, but an attitude? That's an entire network of beliefs, emotions, and behaviors all woven together. An attitude change is a total identity shift.
This is like wiping your computer and installing a brand new operating system. The cognitive dissonance was so intense, the system crashed so complete that the only way forward is to become a fundamentally different person, with a whole new way of seeing the world. The failure itself becomes the catalyst.
Okay, so what does all of this actually mean for you, for us? Well, now that we have this map, we can start to shift from an unconscious reflex to a conscious reflection.
The real beauty of having this map of your own mind is that it gives you a kind of superpower, the power of recognition, in real time. The next time you feel that grinding mental friction, you can actually pause. You can identify it for what it is, your brain's alarm system. And in that pause, you get to consciously choose your exit. You don't have to just be a passenger anymore.
And that leaves us with one last, pretty challenging question. If our minds are so deeply wired to trick us just to keep things consistent, how can we ever be sure that our most deeply held beliefs are actually real? What if some of our strongest convictions are just the result of a lifetime of really clever rationalizations, all perfectly designed to keep our internal cruise control running smoothly on the highway of our lives?